What's good, everybody, and welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. I'm Andrea Renee, joined by the verified one at Tim Geddes.
Let Tim host. Nothing like a little TNA to start your day.
That's right. Ooh, I never thought about it like that before. That is a great way to start your day. Mm-hmm. And we had a little technical snafu in the beginning there, so thanks for everyone on Twitch who is hanging with us at twitch.tv/kindafunnygames.
Watching live.
You know what you got to do when you're watching live? Keep us honest by going to kindafunny.com/you're-wrong to help all those people watching on podcast services around the globe so they get, the best version of the show. Mm-hmm. And of course, another great way to watch, youtube.com/kindafunnygames. But if you want to take it one step further and be part of the show, you got to go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where you can get involved by submitting us your questions. You can submit us your squad ups, your deals of the day. Just whatever's on your mind.
Fun little stories. You know what I mean? And we like to give options here. Kind of funny.
Exactly.
If audio's more your thing, guess what? What can you do?
Listen.
Podcast services.
Subscribe.
The globe. All that stuff. It's fantastic.
Leave a review even if you're really feeling fancy.
Only good ones, though. You know my policy on that.
You know what the rule is, Tim?
Yeah?
If you don't have anything nice to say.
Shut the fuck up.
He's right.
Well, welcome. This is, of course, Kinda Funny Games Daily, where we talk to you about the nerdy video game news you need to know about. And today we're going to be talking about an SNES controller, ? A follow-up to that DayZ story from yesterday. And, of course, we've got some potential rumor reports on what's happening with Splinter Cell. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. Let's start with some housekeeping. So today for housekeeping, we want to promote party mode, even though Greg said if it's Wednesday, promote party mode. Why not do it on Tuesday, too?
I don't know if we can say what party. We can't say.
We can't say what party mode is
under
tomorrow.
embargo?
Yes.
We got an embargoed party mode. It's pretty cool.
Exciting.
But while you're waiting for that, why don't you watch last week's party mode of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, where Kevin doesn't know which character he's playing.
I started playing that on the plane on my way back from Chicago.
How you liking it?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
I may have started on Mighty mode, started over on Friendly mode. Mostly because I'm like, I don't have enough time to really, learn all of the different heroes.
Oh, Mighty's the, easier one?
No, the Friendly is the easier one. Mighty is like, if you're familiar with action games, you should play it on this level. And I'm like, I'm definitely familiar. I just want my baby as baby mode, okay? Just give it to me.
But then you moved up to Mighty, though.
No, I moved down. I started over and moved it down. Because I couldn't find a way to do it in the middle of the game. Anyway, I digress. We also want to give a big shout out and thank you to our Patreon producers, Blackjack and Mohammed. And today, of course, we're brought to you by Quip and Experian, but we'll talk to you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. There are 4 stories on the Roper Report today.
Baker's dozen.
One of my favorite things is on the doc that we have that kind of explain. We want to, if people have never hosted the show, we want them to be able to do it. And it just says, for now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. And then parentheses, Kevin makes beeping noises.
And then it also have Kevin yells a baker's dozen.
I love it.
Which is great. But do you remember the first time Fran hosted the show and he could not get any of this stuff right?
I think that's why we wrote all of this stuff in.
I think that's why Greg is like, let me spell this out very explicitly for you about how the show is going to go.
Yeah.
No, but we love Fran.
Yes.
All right. So first story in the Roper Report today. An FCC filing may have revealed a wireless SNES controller for the Nintendo Switch.
You've piqued my interest, Andrea.
This write-up comes from friend of the show, Adam Bankhurst, over at IGN. A recent FCC filing may have revealed Nintendo's plan to release a wireless Super Nintendo controller for the Nintendo Switch, which would be very similar to its release of the wireless NES controllers alongside the addition of the NES games to Nintendo Switch Online. Discovered by Reset Error user Link83, the filing includes a single image that very much resembles the back of the SNES controller. Furthermore, the model number HAC042 is in line with other Nintendo Switch model numbers. The Switch itself is HAC001, and the wireless NES controllers are HAC033 and HAC033, which is the same number. That must be a typo. It's important to know that it doesn't reference the Switch or Super Nintendo anywhere in the filing, and the equipment name is simply wireless game device. Barrett, are you going to pull that image up for us?
Yeah.
But it is pretty clear what this filing would be for. Nintendo Switch Online and the first batch of NES games were made available on September 18th, 2018, and while there have been some data mines and such that have hinted at SNES games arriving to Nintendo's latest console, we haven't heard any true confirmation.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to think about because we did get true confirmation when they first really kind of were talking about the Switch, and then they kind of backed off of that.
They were like,
January 10th
Here's
event.
the image that they found in the filing, which looks strikingly like a Super Nintendo controller.
Hell yeah.
Man, I'm all about this. Put it right into my veins. I cannot wait to have Super Nintendo games on the Switch. It's funny because, you know, a lot of people give shit to the NES Online or whatever it's called, the Nintendo Entertainment System.
I was just playing it yesterday. I can't remember.
Are you talking about the legacy games that are available through Nintendo's online service?
There's the Nintendo app on the Switch. I forgot the name of it, but the Nintendo online service gives you the NES thing with the two NES controllers on top of each other.
Right.
And at this point, it's kind of a robust library. Like it felt like a joke in the beginning when there was the 20 games. It was kind of like there's some weird omissions.
There was like solid games on that first 20 though.
Oh, totally. They're very solid. Mario games, Zelda games. Like there was a lot there. But now looking at it, almost a year later, I guess. Like it's a stacked lineup that is missing very few of the NES classic titles that you'd expect to be there.
It was really nice. I played it last night for the first time in a very long time, and it was cool. If like, since there were all the new additions, it was like, oh, we have gifts for you, and it like would pop every time I would scroll over it.
They make it a fun experience.
And it was like, ooh, I don't care about any of these games, but like I'm having a fun time unlocking them.
So when you have the app, it's very well presented. It's like a beautiful, like I don't even want to say Netflix style layout. They kind of nailed their own thing here. Very, very big, beautiful box art. Barrett, if you could try to find a picture of it.
Yeah.
And what they do is every month they add about 3 games.
Right.
Sometimes they'll do 3 games and then SP versions. So they're like special versions of the games. And the special versions of the games, when they first came out, I thought was kind of a weird thing. And it felt like they were just kind of padding and filling out the library. But at this point, now that everything's kind of there, it's clear that that's not the case. It's just that a lot of people have trouble with some of the older games because they're so difficult.
Right.
So these special versions will kind of like give super fun cheat code versions of the game where they'll put you at the memorable moment. So you might like you can start fully decked out fighting Mother Brain in Metroid. Like
That's
it's like
really awesome.
It's like the cool
I didn't
iconic,
realize they were doing that.
The cool iconic moments for you to do. So that's how it looks. And you can just kind of like go through and choose whatever game, load it up. It's instant. Like there's no loading at all, which is really cool and impressive. But what's awesome is every month when you open up the app, it'll be like, oh, you have new presents. And one by one, the games will open up with little like, doodle-doo, and you just keep going. And it's just like, you feel like you're getting a lot.
Yeah, I was looking into the Zelda ones because I'm doing my whole Zelda playthrough, but I didn't include the first 2 games because those are definitely games that like are important, but to me are dated, and I didn't really want to go back to them. But they released the special version of them, and it's like for Zelda 1, you start out with like all of the items and like the sword and stuff already, and then the second Zelda game, I think it's like you have like max health and stuff already. And stuff
it just kind of speeds up the process and lets you get a really good taste of what that game is at its full potential, like quickly, which I think is a fun thing for like a historical point of view for people that might not want to sit through the entire original Legend of Zelda, but want an idea of what it was. But taking that and applying it to Super Nintendo, that is the most exciting thing to me. And I think that if this is anything to go by, if this were to come out in the next month or so, then we have over the next year, then we'll get the entire collection of Super Nintendo. That's really exciting.
Hell yeah.
Well, it looks to me at face value, just having seen that software for the first time, that it reminds me a lot of the way that they built the software inside the Nintendo
Classic.
The Nintendo Classic, yeah. And then if you think about what they did for the SNES Classic, it was very similar. In fact, I think it was a little bit better even. They had more functionality. And so if they've already got that lineup of games tailored for a kind of like a digital emulation type-esque thing, then, I mean, why not? Why not just like
I will say it's not perfect.
Free?
I have real big issues with the fact that you can't hide the display.
Yeah.
Like no matter what you're like, you can change the aspect ratio of it for like it to like fully fit the screen or be the classic 4:3 or whatever it is. But the problem is there's like a weird. You always see your Mii's and like it'll say like player 1 and player 2 like kind of in the top corners.
Oh.
And it's just like dumb little shit that to me is really distracting, and I'd like to just be able to hide the HUD. And the other problem is a huge Nintendo problem is that the button layouts never match up to what you want them to be.
Yeah.
And so like it's Game Boy style layout instead of being like, you know, original like Super Nintendo style layout.
Yeah,
like when you're running and jumping in Mario, you want your thumb to be going diagonally down, but it's going diagonally up.
And that's because of the way that the buttons are laid out on the Switch controller.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was definitely weird after playing like Mario Maker for the last couple of weeks and then going into the original Super Mario Brothers yesterday and being like, oh, this isn't right. Why? Yeah. It's so weird.
Aren't there like third-party versions of the controllers though that are available currently?
The 8BitDo controller that just came out, the 8BitDo SN30 Pro, is fantastic. Highly recommend it for people, and it is a bring it up right there. Boom, the top left, baby. It is.
Ooh, that's real nice.
Yeah. And it's fully programmable, and you can kind of change it with like macros and stuff to change the button layout to be what you want it to be, which is going to be fantastic.
How expensive is that controller?
$50, I think, for that one.
Let me click into it.
For Bluetooth?
Order now on
Amazon.
It's Bluetooth.
Charges USB-C.
Yep, $50, $49.99.
There's a Super Nintendo edition. Can you go look at the other colorways? To the right.
Under the price. There you go.
Super Nintendo, Game Boy, and
I like
just
that one.
classic controller or Pro controller at the top.
Yeah, I see the difference between the red buttons and then the
And the other cool thing
like the periwinkle buttons.
is the Super Nintendo one. The Y and X buttons on the top are actually concave.
Oh, like
Just like the original.
Oh,
Super
that's
Nintendo.
awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And if you look, actually,
Fancy.
one more thing. Go look at the Super Nintendo version. Right, you're on it. Look at the D-pad. Now go up and look at the Game Boy's D-pad.
Whoa.
So the D-pad's like the Game Boy was.
That's a really nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
See, those are the kind of details that matter when you're selling a controller like this for $50.
8BitDo, fantastic track record. Never let me down.
Well, that's good to hear. I've never heard of them, so
Yeah, they're fantastic. But this Super
There you
Nintendo
go.
news, very cool stuff. That controller is going to be great with them. The official Nintendo controller is going to be fantastic. The wireless ones they did for the NES were they were NES controllers, but
I mean, it's
Bluetooth,
Nintendo's hardware, right?
Yeah, the Joy-Con side flip-on thing, little weird, little unnecessary. Gonna be honest.
You got to charge them somehow, Tim.
Listen,
just
the
any other way.
Joy-Cons are just a
Any other
mistake,
way.
okay?
I don't think
they were
they're a
good
mistake.
in theory, but in practicality, you get weird gamer claw when you're holding on to them for too long. And
Yeah, but they're good for dumbass Mario Kart parties and shit.
well,
true.
that's what I mean. They're good for like very specific situations, and that's about it.
It's much like the N64 controller. Very good for very specific games.
Yeah.
Really only Mario 64. After that, it's just very weird.
I could
Absolutely.
I could get behind that. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if this is real or not. Or I think it's real. We're gonna get Super Nintendo games at some point. I do think it's a bigger question though of are we gonna get them in a NES Online style rollout, or if they're going to be standalone titles. And Nintendo doesn't have a legacy of doing that on the Switch so far. But when you look at their eShop right now, if you look at the best sellers, constantly it'll be like whatever the one big game is of the moment, so Fire Emblem, right? And then it'll just be a ton of re-released games that are like Doom, right? Like things like that are just standalone old games that you can just buy on the eShop. Like there's just so much money there. If Nintendo were to drip feed just here's Super Mario World, here's Super Metroid, here's Final Fantasy VI, like the chart would just be taken over by that.
Of course. I mean, Nintendo's greatest strength has always been their first party library of games. And I think that's, not controversial to say. And people like us will rebuy games over and over again on each system because we have a lot of nostalgia for them. And quite frankly, they're classic games that stand the test of time. And there's not many publishers that can say that. Nintendo is one of the few. I would like to see them include it in the online subscription service as like an added value, or even if you get a discount through the subscription service. Because right now it's like there isn't like a whole lot of new stuff happening as consistently as you can get with the other subscription services. Granted, it's much cheaper than your Gamepass or your PlayStation Nows of the world, right? But that being said, there's a reason why these older games are the most popular. It's because the rest of the stuff that's coming to Nintendo platform really prolifically is all these indie games that are kind of unproven, and people are hesitant potentially to spend money on a game they've never heard of from a studio they don't know, unless they hear about it on something like the Kind of Funny Game Showcase, right?
Well, indie games do great on the eShop as well, but like I'm talking about compared to like some of the more AAA titles. AAA.
Well, it's because everything.
Switch.
Well, I don't want to say everything, but a lot of the AAA titles that we've seen come to Switch, if they come at all, are not the same experience that you're getting on the other platforms, right? The resolution's not the same. There's some features that aren't the same, and so I think if I was a Switch owner that had access to another platform, it would be a really hard sell for me to buy it on Switch. Why would I be playing?
Yeah.
Like Wolfenstein on Switch when I can be playing it on Xbox One or PS4 or PC, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that's interesting about the what you're talking about with the Super Nintendo with the value add is, obviously, more is always better, and like I hope that they go with that route, because at some point that becomes just an insane deal.
Right.
Like I already think personally that it is an insane deal that if you have literally 2 friends that are down to do this, you can get the Nintendo Switch Online down to $1 a year, like less than $10 a year, and you get every Nintendo NES game that you'd ever want to play, unlimited access to it. Like that's so much better than even one generation ago on Wii U when it was $5 per NES game.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think they're learning, right? It's a good way to incentivize people to buy your hardware. If you say, hey, guess what? We're not going to do traditional packing games like we used to. We'll do bundles from time to time, but you can just buy a standalone Switch, and all you have to pay is this nominal fee for the entire 12 months, and you get access to this library of games that you know and love.
Yeah.
I think it's a win. All right, on to the next story. Splinter Cell is coming back one day. So this write-up comes from Alex
It's all sneaking around
Avard
right
at
now.
Games Radar. I think Greg added this last night. I'm not sure. The Splinter Cell franchise has offered some of the best stealth games of all time over its multi-decade history, but the last time we saw its Spec Ops protagonist Sam Fisher was in 2013's Splinter Cell Blacklist, leaving fans eager for the series to make its long-awaited comeback. In recent years, Ubisoft has been more transparent in justifying Splinter Cell's hiatus, explaining that it's a matter of finding the right time and the team for the beloved Tom Clancy property. But thankfully, the publisher has confirmed that a new Splinter Cell project of some sort is currently being worked on.
I'm going to stop you right there. I'm not liking how any of this has sounded.
Yeah.
You can continue.
I feel like Ubisoft confirms projects and then we don't hear from them for years. Hello, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, it's less that. It's more, it's a mobile game, isn't it?
Oh no, I didn't even go that route. Indeed, in a recent interview with Gamersky, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot teased that Sam Fisher's return to video games might not be in the form of a traditional blockbuster release, but instead offer some, quote, new type of experiences, but more on different devices. Let me read that again. Quote, some new type of experiences, but more on different devices. That definitely sounds like mobile to me. Continuing the quote, we are working a little bit on the brand today to come back at one point, continued Guillemot. We can't say when because, as you know, it takes time, but each time we have to find the right experience to come back big.
So check this out. What if it wasn't as quote-unquote bad as we think, and it's not a mobile game? What is most famous about Splinter Cell?
The headpiece. It's interesting that this path I see you're going down, the Nano Biologist wrote it and said, what's good, Andrea and Greg, he meant Tim. Like many fans, I will jump anytime I read anything related to Splinter Cell. Never forget all the rumors and the Walmart leaks getting us hyped. Now we have a new hope with the head honcho, Yves Guillemot, saying that there will be a new experience, but on new devices. Could this mean that the previously reported Splinter Cell Oculus VR game is coming to light soon? Or will it be something we don't expect, like an open world stealth game similar to Ghost Recon and MGS5? Also, remember, there was a strictly stealth DLC mission in Wildlands where you had to find Sam. Or is it something that we wouldn't expect, like some type of ARG or 2D stealth game on your phone? Whatever it is, I hope it really is the right experience that makes the series come back big, since we've been waiting a long time. Thanks, the Nanobiologist. I think VR is definitely the way to go for Splinter Cell.
I think it's the way to go out of all these. I also think it is what they'd be working on. Mobile game just doesn't sound right, and them talking about new experiences. Mobile game aren't new experiences at this point. That's kind of well-worn territory, even for Ubisoft. So a VR game for Splinter Cell, like, again, the concept could be really cool. Imagine hearing the like putting it on, like that would be a fun experience.
Yeah.
How do you turn that into an authentic Splinter Cell game. I don't know that necessarily has the kind of one-to-one link. Like, even like Blood and Truth that Greg's always talking about on PlayStation VR. It's such a fun game, but it's more shooting based, right? Like you need that action of what you can do in VR. And unless like you're the man in the van in Splinter Cell.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because we got the opportunity to play Phantom Covert Ops at E3 earlier this year on Oculus Quest. And that is a covert game that very much has like a similar style and feel to Splinter Cell, but you play in a tactical kayak, which you guys may have heard us talk about, where you're literally in this kayak the whole time. You're just in the boat, but you get to like take your guns up.
Kayak.
It sounds funny, but the movement actually was really well done. I wasn't quite sold on the whole concept of the game of never getting out of the boat. You're just like in the boat the whole time. But you do have a variety of weapons, and you have to stealth kill, and you have to, make sure that you're not seen and take cover and things like that. So I think that there's room to merge tech that we saw in that game and some of the amazing, IP that we get in Splinter Cell. And obviously VR, like you said, with the headset, it feels like it's like ready-made for a VR experience.
Yeah. Could be cool. I don't know. We'll see when we even hear about this, if we even actually hear about this, or if this project gets scrapped at some point and they just move on to a real proper Splinter Cell game. Mm-hmm. Ubisoft just has a lot on their plate, and they've kind of been doing a great job of reinventing franchises and keeping franchises fresh in the last couple years. I feel like they've really hit a stride since 2017, probably. So bringing back Splinter Cell, if they need more time, then give them more time, because I believe that when they do bring it out, it'll be good.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. It's going to be cool. All right. Continuing on, DayZ will be changed worldwide after weed sparks Australian ban.
Ooh, you bunch of narcs.
Sparks.
This write-up comes from Emma Kent over at Eurogamer. It was hardly a joint decision, but following the Australian Classification Board's ruling that DayZ would be banned from sale for its depiction of drugs, Bohemia Interactive has announced it will edit the game to bring it in line with the Australian rules for all versions worldwide. Last week, news broke that the ACB had rejected the physical release of DayZ thanks to illicit or prescribed drug use related to incentives, specifically the use of cannabis as a reward, even though the drug was not yet implemented in the game. Despite DayZ having been available in digital form for 5 years, the ACB indicated it would also work to get the game pulled from digital storefronts. Faced with a complete ban across Australia, the simplest thing for Bohemia Interactive to do was change the game. And the studio has now confirmed to Kotaku Australia that this is the plan. Quote, "At the moment, we are editing the global version of DayZ so it will fit into the board's requirements. The key objective is to keep the gameplay as authentic as it was, so players are not affected by this change," the studio said. The alternative route of action was for Bohemia Interactive to simply exclude Australia until a different solution could be found, but the studio said it didn't want to separate Australian players from the rest of the world since many people play cross-region. Continuing the quote, "We love that DayZ is the place to meet with friends and experience the game without dramatic regional lag. We don't want to change that," end quote. So you guys may have heard Tim and Greg talking about this yesterday. This is, to me, it's silly, it's dumb, but we know that Australia has had some of the strictest content rules for video games for a long time. So not shocking that they came back with the pushback. And I think Bohemia was like, let's choose the path of least resistance here. You know what the easiest thing for us to do is just take this, we'll just take it out of the game.
Yeah. I feel like my gut reaction to this is to kind of be like, ugh, goddamn
eye roll.
Eye roll, and like, just like, don't bend the knee to this. Like, come on, like, stand up for it. But then it's like, you look at a lot of the more extreme, I would say, like Japanese censorship things that have been going on, lost in translation culturally. And it's just like, hey, if Australia just has a different culture, then it's like, there's, it can't go differently in two different ways. Like, we kind of need to look at it all as like, the censorship in these games is going to happen because they are worldwide, and there's going to be, a reach to everybody, and every culture has something different. And at the end of the day, like, to the bottom line of the DayZ guys, it's like, they're going to want the game played by people and enjoyed by people. And if it's going to be limited from Australia because of this, so they get a different experience and they don't want that as their vision, you got to support that.
I don't think this is culture related. My best friend lives in Sydney, and she often refers to her home country.
Don't put it out there.
As the nanny state. She says that the government is constantly trying to protect people from themselves and make these crazy rules, and it's just too much. And when it comes to something like this, I would lean to agree with her. I think it's kind of ridiculous because I know you guys were talking about morphine being in the game and this, and it's just like DayZ is clearly a game not designed for 5-year-olds. So, I don't understand what the big deal is.
I thought you were about to say your friend's all about smoking the hooch.
Oh, no, she's not actually. Not her thing.
Heroin, more her style.
No, thankfully not that either. Don't do drugs, kids, unless they're legal and you're an adult of legal age. All right. Moving on to our final story in the Roper Report. Tim Willits, formerly of id Software, lands at World War Z developer Saber Interactive. This write-up comes from Charlie Hall over at Polygon. Just 1 month ago, Tim Willits left id Software after a 24-year career. This week comes the announcement that he's joined on with Saber Interactive. The veteran software developer is trading in the Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein franchises to work for a developer best known for the NBA Playgrounds franchise and most recently, third-person shooter World War Z. Quote, I'm excited to announce that on August 1st, I became the chief creative officer of Saber Interactive, Willits announced on Twitter. I will be leading the creative vision for our 5 studios around the world. Willits will help shape and expand the creative vision for Saber's 5 studios around the world, said Saber today in a press release. He inherits teams stationed in Maplewood, New Jersey, St. Petersburg, Russia, Madrid, Spain, Minsk, Belarus, and Sundsvall, Sweden. Saber has long been known as an extremely flexible developer. Its history includes recent titles such as Off-Road Simulation, Spin Tires, Mud Runner, a reboot of the 1994 beat-em-up called Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn, and The Witcher 3 Complete Edition port for Nintendo Switch. I actually didn't realize Saber was doing that until just now. This is a studio which has proven its ability to respond nimbly to trends across multiple genres time and again, Willits said in the press release. He praised the team, saying it was hungry to control its own destiny. In addition to its work in traditional video games, Saber also develops games for the gambling industry. It also maintains an online game called Slotto Terra, described as a free-to-play social casino.
Cool.
Interesting.
I was unaware of Saber's kind of reach around the industry there. Yeah, with the Witcher thing there and NBA Playgrounds. I didn't realize that the people that made NBA Playgrounds are the ones that made World War Z. That's cool. NBA Playgrounds, mega hit. Made a lot of money, especially in the early days on the Switch there. World War Z is such a weird game to me where it's like, it was announced and everyone's like, huh, that's weird. It was at the Game Awards. And it was kind of like a weird announcement where you're like, this seems super late for a IP this big, quote unquote. And also, who cares about this IP at this point?
It was like a few years too late on the zombie train, right?
Zombie train and the World War Z train. It was like, why would you even have the IP? But then it all came together and we did a party mode. Game was actually pretty good.
I heard good things from
it
most
was a
people
lot
that
of
played.
fun.
Yeah.
I was like, it's way more polished and way more put together. And like, it was a real game when I would kind of look at it and be like, that's some cash grab at what? The World War Z fans of the world? I'm not really sure. I know there was a lot of them from the book, but
I think.
Sorry,
go ahead, Barrett.
I had a fun story about NBA Playgrounds and Shaq Fu. If you bought NBA Playgrounds, I think in the first month that it came out, when Shaq Fu came out, you just got it for free. So
they were like, whatever, man. That sounds like a slam dunk.
It was
to
so
me.
Fucking weird. But yeah, I remember looking at that at the eShop, and it was like, oh, free. And I was like, are they just giving this away? And then I found out afterwards why I got it free. And I played that game for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a game.
So did Andy when he interviewed Shaq.
30 minutes. 30 minutes. Yeah. What do you learn about a game in 30 minutes, Barrett?
All you need to know about Shaq Fu. Have you ever played Shaq Fu the original?
Heck no.
It is. Oh, it's something, man. We did a party mode of it, or let's play of it back in the day.
Oh, all right. Well, congrats, Tim.
Thank you.
I was talking about Tim Willits, not Tim Geddes, but that's okay.
Congrats, Tim.
Thank you. My congratulations is so far away.
If we wanted to find out more congratulations coming to the Mom and Grab Digital Shots, where would we go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, Exception is coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Vasara Collection is coming to PS4, Vita, and PC. Genesis is on PS4. Ancestors Legacy is on PS4 and Xbox One. Robo Galaxy Outlaw is on PC. Friday the 13th.
You can't have the words Rebel and Outlaw in your title.
Why?
Choose one.
Okay.
Pregnant pause.
Okay. Friday the 13th, the game Ultimate Slasher Edition is on Switch. Never Give Up is on Switch. Ember Light is on PC and Mac. Inner is on PC. Cult is on PC. Gravity Control is on PC. Vicious Circle's on PC.
Vicious
DayZ.
Circle. RT
Vicious
Games.
Circle. Oh, really? I did not know that.
Andy worked on it back in the day. Just a little bit. Like, that was when we stole him. It was like his last thing he was kind of working on.
Oh, really? So does he have like points or anything on it? Is he in the credits?
God damn, no. Oh, credits? Maybe. Points?
Generally, video game studios don't leave you in the credits if you leave the studio before the game publishes, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
I think
common.
it was more like he was at the studio while they were making the game, less he was working on that. But like he was like a play tester and shit. But I guess technically I was a play tester because I played it. Am I in the credits? Do
Probably
I get
not.
points?
Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you.
You are in the credits.
My game released today, guys.
Dicey Dungeons is on PC and Mac. Legends is on PC and PC Building Simulator. This one is for all you PC dorks out there, as Greg Miller likes to say. Started as a free tech demo on itch.io before it went on to sell more than 750,000 copies of a full-fledged title from publisher The Irregular Corporation. Now Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch owners can build and repair PCs with real licensed parts when the game arrives on August 13th. What a world we live in.
What the fuck?
Was that your angry Andrea voice just because it was bold?
No. I was just reading it with gusto because that write-up came from Tinsley PR, and I love the folks over there.
Got it.
And I wanted to copy and paste it because I thought it was so ridiculous that there's a game called PC Building Simulator. But you know what? Whatever floats your boat, kids.
Whatever you need to do, just do it. But I will say, PR emails, like for games, I feel like we've kind of like went through the looking glass a little bit, where it used to be like egregious, where you would just read these things, you're like, just tell me what the game is, like where the code is, what I need to know, what's the embargo, cool. That's all I need to know. Don't be cute. Then I feel like at some point they're like, we get it, we're not going to waste your time. Here's what we need, cool. But I feel like at some point someone was like, they made a hashtag and they're just like, oh, this is fun. And the next thing you know, it's just spreading like a disease. So I need to show you an email that I got about a game that I can't talk about yet when we get off. It is insane. It's just like, or instead of having 6 paragraphs that are all fluffy bullshit words trying to like explain things in the concept of the world, the game world, just tell me about it in the real world. Don't tell me download it on your electronic contraption, blah, blah, blah. No, it's a Nintendo Switch. It's a PlayStation 4.
So they're being cheeky, but they're missing the mark.
Yeah.
They're trying to be clever, but they're not.
They're not. It's a waste of my time.
And
I am a busy man making video games.
Exactly. We ain't got time to be wasted. On to new dates. This is a rumor, but I'm including it because it seems like it has some credibility to it. The virtual reality version of LA Noire looks to set launch for the PlayStation VR, according to a Peggy Ratings Board listing for LA Noire, the VR case files on PS4, spotted by recent era user Tamari. This version of the game previously launched for PC back in 2017, and this write-up comes from Eurogamer. LA Noire, the VR case files place you directly in the shoes of the detective Cole Phelps. The description reads, and as you solve brutal crimes, plots, and conspiracies inspired by real cases from 1947 Los Angeles, just like the full LA Noire, this new VR version will carry an 18+ rating with warnings for violence and swears.
When LA Noire first came to, when it was like remastered last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was, Rockstar sponsored a ton of podcasts, just like Quip or Experian would sponsor us. And they sponsored a lot of true crime podcasts because that makes sense for what they're trying to do, even if it's not necessarily their audience. So in a lot of podcasts Gia would listen to, they'd be talking about like LA Noire. It's like, get on the streets of LA and become a detective and whatever. And one day Gia comes home, she's just like, hey, can we get LA Noire? And I was like, what the fuck? It was like the most random question I've ever heard out of her mouth. I'm like, sure?
That's a Gia-ass game right there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it's so funny. Like, all right, so hey, advertisement works.
But it makes sense. Why not? This is like, they've already, made it for modern consoles. Continuing on for new dates, critically acclaimed Frostpunk, the latest game in the 11-bit Studios portfolio, will be launching on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 on October 11th. Frostpunk, if you are confused about what this game is a game that Trisha Hirschberger has talked a lot about how much she loves. A grim society simulator and city builder in which players struggle against the frozen post-apocalyptic landscape as the ruler of the last city on Earth. It garnered high praise among PC users, and now players can experience the unique gameplay, make thoughtful decisions, and follow a powerful narrative on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 this fall.
Fantastic.
Spry Fox's latest gem, Steambird's Alliance, the spiritual successor to the company's hit Realm of the Mad God, is ready for launch after 6 wonderful years in development. On August 22nd, Steambird's Alliance will launch on Steam, emerging from an open beta phase that saw more than 10,000 players join the fun. Mythgard, the urban fantasy collectible card game from Rhino Games, is gearing up for its beta launch coming to PC and mobile on September 19th.
Kevin's mom's birthday.
Oh. Happy birthday,
Go when it,
Kevin's mom.
Buy her Mythgard when it comes out. The urban fantasy collectible card game.
It's just beta. You can't buy it yet. Deals of the day. Big Brain on Brad wrote into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where you can be part of the show and said GameStop is offering a $225 trade-in this week for the Nintendo Switch. You can use the credit to buy the newer Switch with the better battery life for only $75. Make sure the box art is the new all-red design to be sure you are getting the latest design. That's actually a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah. $75 for a sweet upgrade? Hell
Yeah. I mean, I'd do it for 2 extra hours of battery
I'm
life.
thinking about it.
Or
What?
just buy an Anchor battery pack.
I do have a battery pack.
Have
Yeah, but then you
guys
have to
ever-
carry the battery pack around with you, and then when you're in your airplane seat, those seats are already small enough as
Yeah.
it is. You're fumbling with the cords, and if you have to stand up to go to the bathroom, everything falls on the floor, and then you bump the chair next to you, and then the drink falls on.
These are real problems. That's true.
These are real issues that
But
we
has
face
the
today.
Switch battery been an issue for you guys at all?
Yes.
Really?
If
Couple
I
of
don't
times.
have my Switch plugged in to the power outlet, and not all planes have power outlets, I lose battery every flight I play.
What the hell are you playing?
I mean, I'm games, just regular games, but I'll play for like 2 or 3
never had an
consecutive
issue.
hours.
At any time, it's like, I am getting low, so I just pop out the little battery pack.
Maybe it's because I have my screen brightness turned up higher than you do.
Maybe.
But I don't want
Yeah.
to squint. I want to experience my game in all of its glory.
That's fair.
I also have the same problem. So my battery goes. And what was the most recent game I was playing? It was the dude has the power to control time.
Mario.
No, it's a platformer where he's controlling
Katana Zero?
Katana Zero, and it's like, it would eat up battery. I don't know.
Oh,
Katana
interesting.
Zero would.
I was just playing Katana Zero too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't experience that with that game. But Kev, with this deal of trade-in to get $225 for our regular Switches, it'd only be $75 to upgrade to the newer Switch with the better battery.
GameStop. That's the deal of the day.
That's not bad.
You can trade in
That's not
your
bad at
old
all,
Switch.
guys.
We going to GameStop this weekend?
You want to go?
Maybe, man.
I'm in.
the players.
Let's go.
Is the new Switch out now? I thought it was not out yet.
People have been tweeting about getting the new Switch already, so.
Oh, well, there you go. Don't forget about the red box, the all red design. I'm sure your trusty GameStop employee will be able to help you make sure you get the right one.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. On to reader mail. But before we get to reader mail, we got to tell you about some folks that are helping make everything we do here at Kind of Funny Games possible.
Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. They make that stuff happen. And also Quip. Let me tell you about Quip. The easiest way to back into a routine. Start it up before September, especially if you're headed back to school. I'm not headed back to school, but I use my Quip every single day, twice a day.
I just
And guess
brought mine to
what?
Chicago.
That's
Yeah.
4 minutes a day because they have a 2-minute timer, 4 quadrants of your mouth, 30 seconds each. That's how math works. You brought yours to Chicago. How easy
did.
was it? How sleek? How sexy was that toothbrush?
It's so great. I can't get over that. You can just stick it right to the mirror.
It's great. You got that. I love that it's like, it has a little holder stand. Oh wait, it's also a travel case.
Yep.
And it's so sleek. I love it. It's beautiful. I have the jet black on black. It's real nice. I love that a lot. Gia's been using it. Pretty much everyone in this office uses it at this point. It is definitely a game changer.
You shouldn't really share toothbrush with that many people, Tim.
That is true. But luckily they have the replacement brushes, so it's really easy to pop them on and off if you wanted to be a crazy person. Brush heads are automatically delivered on a dentist recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. A friendly reminder when it's time to refresh and to stay committed to your oral health. I'm gonna be honest. Back in the olden days, before the pre-Quip, so PQ era, all right?
Okay.
I would never know when to replace my toothbrush. it was always one of those things. I'm like, I got a couple more weeks out of this one. You know,
and then you lose track of time.
You lose track, and then you're like, you reset almost. You're like, I guess I got a couple more weeks out of this one. And next thing you know, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
You're brushing your teeth with some nasty. But now you don't need to do that because they send you it, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I got mail. That means it's time to change it out. Quip and easy. That's why I love Quip and why it's perfect for getting back into a routine. I made up the Quip and easy catch line. They didn't have that in there. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/games right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. That's getquip.com/games. Just do it. Also, shout out to Experian. You know, the better your credit score, the easier it is to get the stuff you want, or the less you have to pay. So the question is, why is it so hard to raise your score? Now, it won't be. Thanks to Experian. They've launched Experian Boost, a brand new way to instantly increase your credit scores for free. You know all about these credit scores right now, Andrea, right?
Oh, yes. As somebody who is going through the process of buying a home, your credit scores are incredibly important. And I actually just ran my Experian credit report.
Wow. I did it for my mom as well. Really easy. Couldn't be easier. A higher credit score can help you establish and get access to credit and preferred rates for the things you want and need in life. Experian is on a mission to help boost America's credit score, which will help millions of people across the country build and get better access to credit. People all across America have already raised their credit scores with Experian Boost, and you can too. For the first time ever, paying your utilities and cell phone can instantly improve your credit score. Experian Boost works by giving you credit for the bills you're already paying through your bank account, like water, gas, electric, cable, and cell phone. It used to take months to see your credit score rise a point or two. With Boost, you can increase your credit scores instantly. Boost is free to use and only available from Experian. Up until now, you've been paying your utility and cell phone bills and not getting any credit for it, but now you can. It's great. They make it easy, like I said. I can't believe it's taking this long for someone to do this. What are you waiting for? Experian Boost could potentially help you establish or increase your access to credit. Boost your FICO score instantly for free. Boost is only available at Experian.com/KFgames. That's EXPERIAN.com/KFgames. Experience the boost.
Such a great way to help your credit score get to the place you need it to without having to open additional lines of credit, which is usually the first thing they tell you to do. But that could be really dangerous and bad for a lot of people.
It can mess you up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Greg Miller.
Just do the things you're already paying for.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Boost.
All right, Tim.
Yeah.
We've got some questions here for some people.
Fuck them. Fuck those people with the questions.
No, these are people who are writing into patreon.com/kindfunnygames paying your salary, Barrett.
Unfuck them.
Okay.
Thank
They're
you.
unfucked.
So let's see here. What should we start with? Did you guys kind of talk about this yesterday? Maybe. The life hacks for cons.
We kind of talked about it, I think. Was it yesterday?
Last week?
Or a couple.
Week,
I think
maybe?
it might have been Friday, but let's do it again.
Sure. So
version.
2038 Pokemon CEO writes and says, do you have any life hacks for attending conventions? I'm attending my first Pokemon Worlds this weekend, and do you bring portable batteries, water, a lunch? I don't expect you to attend Worlds, but this is overall advice. It's great advice because actually we've got some members from Kind of Funny that are going to be at a convention in Canada this weekend. I believe Greg gave all those details at the end of the show yesterday since he didn't put them in housekeeping.
Where are you going?
No, I'm not going.
You guys
are going.
Okay, sorry. My
It's
head
Andy.
is in like four places.
It's Andy, Greg, and are you going?
I am going, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm going. I thought I
Yeah.
was surprised you were going.
I'm not going.
Okay.
No, I'm staying here and packing things.
Bring
in
a
my house.
battery pack. That's important. Definitely.
Water, yes. Be sure to check with the convention center that you're going to. Almost all places will let you bring sealed water bottles in now, but every place is different, so make sure you can. But if you can, or at the very least, bring an empty water bottle, and then you can fill it up at a water station, because I have yet to be at a convention that didn't have free water stations everywhere because they want to keep people hydrated. They don't want people passing out.
Yeah.
Comfortable shoes is another good thing. You're going to be on your feet a lot, walking around a lot. Don't bring a lunch. Rarely will they let you bring food into the convention centers.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah, because they want you to buy stuff at the convention. And if you don't want to do that, of course, make your own lunch plans. Search the area around. Maybe go to the Kind of Funny subreddit and be like, hey, who wants to meet up for lunch?
That's usually what I like to do is plan my lunch knowing that it's chaos around wherever the convention is actually happening, but just 3 blocks down around a corner, it's going to be like nothing is going on around it, and then you can just get easy lunch. Otherwise, if you're too close in the vicinity, the lines are going to be nuts.
Exactly.
Most important thing to bring, positive attitude.
Yes, patience. Smile. Be friendly. You want to brighten somebody's day, not get into a fight with somebody, right?
If you don't have nothing nice to say,
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Another pro tip that we don't really talk about a lot is that I find it useful to make sure that if I have people that need to get in contact with me, that they know that I'll probably be unavailable those days, because your cell phone reception and Wi-Fi reception is greatly diminished when you're around thousands of people potentially getting on the network at the same time as you. So make sure you take care of any important phone calls or important messages before you go. Use an out of office on your email, or make sure your family and friends know where they can get a hold of you, where you will be in case of an emergency, because getting cell phone reception is incredibly difficult at conventions. So something to think about if you have your own like MiFi pack or your own individual Wi-Fi hotspot, something you might want to bring with you so you're not having to rely on public Wi-Fi or cell phone towers for access. That's a handy pro tip. But yeah, have fun. Have a good time. Wear deodorant.
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah.
It's a real issue where you don't think you're going to need it. You get in there, it's hot, it's spicy. Next thing you know, you're feeling a little rumblies between your pits.
And if you're carrying a backpack, maybe throw one of those little mini travel sticks in there for a re-up halfway through the day.
Hand sanitizer.
That's a good one.
Always have hand sanitizer in your pocket, in your bomber jacket pocket. Always.
There you go, 2038 Pokemon CEO. Hopefully that helps you. Next question. Give
me some of that good stuff.
How about a continuation of our SNES conversation from Borzen? There was an FCC filing overnight, and it looks like the Nintendo's making some sort of Super Nintendo thing again, which we discussed in the Roper Report. Do you think this is Switch SNES games or something else? If this is Switch SNES games, this is really the question here. What games do you want to see on the service?
I mean,
Link to the Past.
It's the easy answers, right? Like Super Mario World, Link to the Past, and Super Metroid are the 3 that out the gate I'd want there. But I imagine we'll only get 2 out of 3, and then they'll trickle it out a little bit, because at the end of the day, that is kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you want your time to be able to focus on the different ones and get excited when new things come out. And it allows you to kind of breathe a little bit through them. A good example of that is, if I remember correctly, Mario Brothers 2 didn't come out when it first happened, and I played through Mario 1 and 3, and then when 2 came out, I was excited. I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to play through 2 again, and I did, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, obviously those games, Castlevania 4, Mario Kart,
Super Mario RPG,
F-Zero,
Mario RPG, F-Zero,
Chrono Trigger,
Earthbound,
Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's motherfucking Island.
Let's go.
Shut it down, dude. Let's go.
Yeah.
So underrated.
Trying to see like what else would maybe be a little bit more obscure. Ooh, Mortal Kombat 2. I would love that, but they wouldn't. I don't think they would include it. I think it would probably just be Nintendo first party games. But if they were bringing in third party, that was one of my favorite games of all time. Like in my top 10 list of forever.
The Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat 2?
Correct, because it was the game that got me into Mortal Kombat. I vividly remember having a piece of lined, ruled paper that you have for your school notebooks, and I had all of the codes, the fatality codes, and the friendship codes and everything like written out, so I could try to like, fumble with them. But I still never was really good at executing. But I had a cheat sheet that I wrote with a pencil. No one uses pencils anymore.
If we're talking third party as well, Earthworm Jim. One of the Final Fantasies. I don't know which one.
6.
Yeah?
I mean, 6 would be or 3.
Yeah.
Would be the one. But then people also like 5 a lot.
It's true.
Gosh, you remember they put SimCity on SNES? Ooh, I would play that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like the NES one has a lot of third-party games. So I don't think it's out of the question.
Thank you for your question. Contra?
Super Contra.
What about was Ghosts and Ghouls or whatever on the NES one?
There was one. I think it was Ghosts and Goblins though, and Ghosts and Ghouls was Genesis. But
gotcha. So
I might be wrong.
Whatever the sequel is, probably. Because I know people.
I want
really
Tom
like
and
those.
Jerry.
Fuck
I
yeah.
want Lion King.
Yeah.
I want Aladdin.
No, not Aladdin.
What?
Oh, Aladdin.
Not Aladdin.
What?
No.
What's wrong with you?
Aladdin's better than Lion King, bro.
Aladdin is definitely better than Lion King, without question.
Maybe I didn't. The Lion King was the one I played all the time.
Yeah.
Whatever
It's a little
the
broken.
Whatever the baseball game was for the SNES, that one was. That
It
game
was a Mega
fucking-
Man soccer game.
Hell yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Paperboy 2.
Yo, we want to get into the
Not as
fucking
good as
nitty gritty.
Paperboy.
Not as good as Paperboy, but Paperboy 2 is a very, very
I
important
don't
game.
understand
for
you guys
3-year-old.
why Tim and Greg hate Paperboy so much.
It's not that I hate it. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's just it's not great. It's a
It's
mediocre
not one of the top
arcade
10
game.
games ever created for the
Exactly.
console, no, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
one
not.
of my personal favorites.
God, it was such a weird game. I loved it though.
It was a simpler time, Barrett.
It was.
When you could just have joy merely tossing a rolled newspaper very
While small
precisely.
childs run at you with knives.
Yeah. You
And
can throw 'em
sometimes on Tuesday, death shows up.
Yeah. You can throw them at dogs and oh yeah, that game was fucking rad.
simpler time.
Remember Paperboy 64? Because I do.
No.
I don't.
Should I pull it up?
That sounds
It
great.
was rough.
While we're pulling that up, I was thinking of asking this question from Rita, who says, "Hi, Andrea and Tim. Yesterday, there was a discussion about Xbox's future as it is related to the exclusivity of their software. I was wondering if selling consoles is really the priority of Xbox. Xbox is moving towards releasing all first-party games like Forza, Halo, and Gears on both Xbox and PC. This comes in a combination with the release of present and future first-party titles on multiple platforms. Could Gamepass subscriptions and software sales become Xbox's breadwinner? Is Xbox diversifying their income to avoid playing the console wars? Thanks, and have a great day."
Yes.
Before we answer Rita's question, Paperboy 64 gameplay available at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames.
This isn't real.
This is
Dude, it's real.
This is horrifying. I think
I remember being stoked waiting for this to come out because I first read about it in Nintendo Power and I was just like, oh shit, Paperboy, it's back.
I think the reason why
3D.
this looks so much worse is because the old art style works for this style of game, and this just looks garbagey.
It's bad.
It just looks like it controls terribly as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
it totally does. There was weird boss fights you had to do.
What?
Yeah.
Boss fights?
Yeah, with like against some like weird mad scientist.
Oh
Look at his
no, look at
face.
his face. He's got like dot eyes and like some
that's
weird, he doesn't have a
terrifying.
nose. Can we bring up the original Paperboy?
Yeah.
Like so we can see, how far this poor franchise has fallen. Ah,
yes.
yeah.
Hell yes.
Amazing. Paperboy delivers. See? This is classic. I'd play this right now.
For 3 minutes.
Oh no, you hit the tire.
Oh, man.
Is that a
you fucked
tire? I
up.
think it's a hula hoop.
It looks like a plate, like a dinner plate.
Like a giant dinner plate.
Look at it. It's going to come out again. Maybe not.
Okay, we're waiting for the giant dinner plate. Okay, swerving. All of these houses are red brick.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, watch out for the blue kid.
Those fucking blue kids.
Oh, I'm
What's
break
that guy doing?
breakdancing. He's
Hell yeah.
breakdancing.
Oh, man. Wow. What a game, guys.
What's that guy doing?
He's doing some kind of weird dance.
He was twerking.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Simpler time, Tim.
Simpler.
A better time, some would say.
A better time.
Yeah, blind people.
Oh, don't hit the dog.
Or Jared Petty.
Oh, also, the eyes coming out of that sewer were gigantic. Watch out, blue kid.
Ninja Turtles.
Okay, back to the
Look
question.
at that cool
Thanks.
kid on the skateboard.
Thanks, Barrett.
I absolutely, Rita, think that this is them trying to diversify their income to avoid playing the console wars. I was explaining this yesterday. I really think that they are doubling down on selling their software everywhere and trying to own the idea of the ecosystem and platform, not console. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's totally going to pay off for them, but I think that it is the right call for them right now based on their exclusives lineup.
I agree that they absolutely need to focus on software because that was their big miss in this generation of Xbox One. And they clearly have taken steps to rectify that, which will, of course, remain to be seen until we see more of the lineup from their exclusive studios. I don't think they can abandon hardware and go software only. I think they're going to be in the next race for console wars, whether they like it or not, because they can't just immediately pivot away from that business. Because even though they didn't win the console war, because I'm sure we would have heard about sales numbers if they were topping PS4's numbers, because everybody wants to announce that they're number one. But they still made a lot of money selling Xbox Ones around the world. So there's like, let's not, get it confused. Like, they will be having some type of hardware to put into retail stores. But
Absolutely.
It's clear that where they're going with xCloud in particular, that they're moving to really straddle both of those markets in a way that could position them to be the leader if they can nail xCloud. Because everything that we're seeing about Stadia is kind of leaving more and more people coming to my side of being like, is it going to work? I don't know.
Disagree. Strong disagree on that one. But Game Pass subscriptions will become Xbox's breadwinner. I firmly believe that. They will have consoles that they're selling, and they will be like, hey, it's the best place to play these games or whatever.
Yeah.
But like at some point, there's going to be the pie chart, and the biggest part's going to be Game Pass.
Yeah, but Game Pass, most people, I would imagine, don't have the actual data from Xbox. If it exists, let me know, are playing Game Pass on their Xbox.
Well, right now, that's the only way besides the new PC one that they just put out.
So you think once xCloud launches, people will just forego buying the new hardware from Xbox and play it only on their phone?
No, I think that they're going to sell a lot of consoles, and then when they open it up to being available in more places, that the subscription service is going to make a shit ton of money because people can play it wherever they want, whether it's their phones or their Xboxes or their Switches or whatever it is.
I still don't subscribe to the idea that you're going to be able to play Xbox Game Pass on a Nintendo Switch.
We'll see.
Perhaps I'm wrong, Tim.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm
you
wrong.
are.
But we're not making a bet about it, so don't even
Damn
ask.
it. I thought that was going to be the most perfect segue.
No, because-
into you're wrong.
Oh, that is a great
Perhaps
segue.
I'm wrong. Let's see what we got wrong today. You can write in.
Oh, yeah, because we don't have a squad up. So, yeah, go
Okay.
right into it.
We did 2 yesterday, so that works there.
2 for 1.
You can go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. Is that right? No. You can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Let us know.
No, it's kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. That's
Cool.
correct. You got it right.
If you're watching live, you can get us. So Spencer writes in and says, breaking news, WayForward announces a new game coming first physically, only for Switch, with digital to come later. You can go to WayForward's website to see that. The Radical Lefty says GameStop is also giving $5 extra per game traded in, making the Switch V2 even cheaper. The Rebel Outlaw writes in and says, Rebel and Outlaw have 2 totally different meanings, so they can be used together. Tim is just acting like that PR person he spoke of and trying to be funny, but missing the mark. This is a note from the game's developer. Hey, if you don't have anything nice to say, maybe I should shut the fuck up.
Eat your own words, Tim.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the Rebel Outlaw. You please continue to rebel, and outlaw. I don't know. Do your thing, man. And congrats on the game launch. I also launched a game today. Kebab says there was a Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Yes.
New dates: The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is coming to Switch on August 15th, according to Gamatsu.
And yeah, that's it. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. I want to read the Nano Biologist. He writes in, the Paperboy 64 description is all kinds of wild. There's a new Paperboy on your block. The arcade classic returns in 3D for an added dimension of fun. Deliver the daily sun while dodging grumpy neighbors, mad gorillas, vampires, and tornadoes.
Vampires.
Find hidden routes and get air doing freestyle bike tricks. Only Paperboy can save the town from disaster. Featuring over 45 routes and 100 interactive obstacles, fully user-defined stunt system, and play as a Paperboy or girl.
What are vampires doing out in the daytime when you're delivering papers?
What was Death doing on Tuesdays?
I don't know. Death shows up when Death wants to, okay?
I think all of those were implemented into Paperboy 2. I think Paperboy 2 started the whole like zombies and stuff and all this weird stuff.
There was weird shit in Paperboy 1.
Oh, yeah?
Death. On Tuesdays.
Watch out for Tuesday.
Came out with the Reaper and you're like, this escalated.
It's Tuesday, you guys. Be careful. Death is out
Oh
there.
my God, it is Tuesday.
Waiting for you.
Shit.
This has been Kind of Funny Games Daily, your source for nerdy news in the morning. If you like what we do here, please throw us a sub over at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. If you want to go one step further, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can toss us a couple bucks to support everything we do here, including making fun games like Party Mode, which is a new one out tomorrow, but we can't tell you about it because it's a top secret game.
Tomorrow on Patreon.
That's what I said. It's Patreon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, we're recording the Gamescast tomorrow.
Hell yeah, we are.
It's Wednesday instead of Thursday. So that
Crazy
means
stuff.
if you are a member at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, you can watch us record it live. I'm going to be talking about Borderlands 3 because the embargo is up tomorrow morning. So if you got questions, you know where to send them. Right, Tim?
Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames.
All right. That's it for today's show. Tomorrow's host is going to be Greg and Gary for Widow Wednesday. Thursday, Barrett is joining me at the desk. It's going to be a wild one. And then it's Frandria Friday.
Friday.
All right. Have a good day, everybody. We love you. Goodbye.